Hey, Anthony Tilley here, and welcome to the Solopreneur Show.
Welcome to the Solopreneur Show with your host, Anthony Tilley. To get your hands on more great business training and advice, plus the chance to join our free Facebook group where you will see extended guest interviews, the opportunity of free one-to-one coaching, and behind-the-scenes access to Anthony, go to www.thesolopreneurshow.com and join us today. And here's your host, the man himself, Mr. Anthony Tilley.
Hey, Anthony here again, and welcome to episode number 4 of the Solopreneur Show. I'm having a great time. I don't know about you guys, I'm loving it. And we've had some really great stuff already just in the first sort of 3 days. If you're new to the show, you need to be making sure that you're downloading those first 3 episodes as well, because we had some really great stuff. Day 1 was just me flying solo and giving some great information with regards to becoming a solopreneur, a marketer, etc. And then on day 2 we had Nicola Cairncross, who is absolutely top-notch marketer, podcaster, author, and just an all-round amazing lady who had a hell of a story to share. And if you haven't listened to that yet, I highly suggest that you do. And then, of course, yesterday we had Mr. Michael Wilding, which was a wild interview. I've got to say, we had dogs, we had builders, we had pregnant wives, we had it all. It was the show that had it all. So if you haven't seen that one as yet, you need to see that one as well. Now today, got a great guy, Rob J. Temple, who I've known, I think probably since about 2011, I believe that we first met. And Rob's just an awesome guy, he really is. And obviously, I'm doing this intro now. I know what's going to come in the interview. I've done the interview with Rob, and I'm really excited for you to be able to hear this. Now, of course, as ever, if you're listening to this as the podcast, you're only going to get 20 minutes of this interview, so you need to be getting yourself into to the group, where in a few days' time you'll have the whole thing. We're sort of delaying them a little bit for the interviews. We want to cannibalize ourselves, so to speak. So the interviews are going in there a few days after the podcast is released. But what you want to be doing is getting yourself to the solopreneurshow.com/Rob J. Temple and get yourself then into the group in readiness for that interview, because it really is awesome. But of course, you can hear the first 20 minutes on this podcast right here, right now. So as they say, don't adjust that dial, folks, and you're going to hear some really great stuff. So without further ado, I think it's time that we just let's just crack on and let's just get straight into the interview with Rob Temple. I'm joined today by a gentleman who I've known for a number of years, Mr. Rob J. Temple. And Rob's come onto the show today because he's got an amazing story to be able to share with us today. And also as well, he's a digital marketer, he's a hypnotist, he's a magician, and this is somebody who really has made a lot of sort of profits from his passion, and something I'm really interested to explore with him today. So Rob, really great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, buddy. It's a pleasure.
Okay. And Rob, obviously, there's a couple of questions that we need to get out of the way for those people who have never seen you before. Now, there's a lot of guys in the IM industry, who've seen you and recognize your face. And but there's got to be a couple of questions for those guys that are watching the video either on the page or inside of the group. First question, natural redhead?
I'm afraid not, although it's surprising how many people think that I am, but I'm afraid not.
Okay. Second question, again, got to be asked, do you do it yourself? I'm not talking about your hair now, I hate.
No, definitely not. Fortunately, my girlfriend's brother is a very talented hairdresser, and so he takes care of it all.
Cool. Excellent. So as in all business, in all walks of life, it's not just what you know, it's who you know.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. So, Rob, listen, the thing that I like to do with everybody who comes onto the show is really to start the program or start the interview with their story, because there's always going to be nuggets of inspiration and great piece of information that we can sort of draw from that. So if you could share your story with us, that would be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so hi everyone. If you don't know who I am, again, my name is Rob. I am 29 right now, 30 next year, and I've been a full-time hypnotist for about the last 13 years. So I started off in magic when I was about 5 or 6, and I started doing magic, and I took it really seriously. I joined sort of magic societies and entered magic competitions, and my passion was performing. I knew I wanted to be a performer for as long as I possibly could and really take it seriously and do it professionally. So what happened was when I was about 14, I saw a hypnotist and I thought, oh, that's cool. That would be like an extra string to the bow. I think I'll learn that too. And I decided to train as a stage hypnotist. So I started doing that. I studied it for a couple of years, and then at the age of 16 started doing stage hypnosis shows, touring around, various sort of pubs and clubs and things in the UK. And then that eventually took me to Greece, to the Greek island of Kos, one of my favorite places in the world. And I did several summer seasons there. And basically I was doing my show between 6 and 11 times every single week. And it's quite tiring, actually, even though the show's only 2 hours long. So it's hardly a full day's work by any means. It's still very tiring when you're up there on stage giving it everything. So I was working quite hard. I was making reasonable money, but I was spending it all on, alcohol and parties and just generally having a good time. I was 18, 19 years old. So this was all good. I was having a cracking time and really enjoying myself. But I was acutely aware of the fact that if I stopped doing that and moved back to the UK, I would have nothing. I had no savings. I had no money. I didn't have a credit card. Didn't have anything. And so I would literally have to pack euro notes into a briefcase and take them home with me, smuggle them back into the UK in order to have any money. So I was doing this, again, having a great time, but not building anything worthwhile. So at some point, I think I was about 18 or 19, and I was sat in one of the bars where I used to do my hypnosis show out there. And I've always been a fan of just sitting on the internet anyway, building little websites. I went to web design club at school and things like that. So I've always been interested in just technology and online stuff anyway. And I got an email from my dad. Now, I was brought up in a city in the northeast of England called Sunderland. Now, it's actually quite a big city, but we think of it as being this little kind of tiny village tucked up in the northeast corner. And so we don't think anything really exciting ever happens in Sunderland. So one day I got this email from my dad, and he said, go and have a look at this on eBay. So I clicked on it, and it was a guy selling an ebook. This is back in the days when you could sell digital products downloadably on eBay. And it was about how to make $10,000 a month by selling information products and ebooks. And the only reason this grabbed our attention is because the item location was listed as being Sunderland. And we were like, well, this is the time where nothing happens. So my dad had said, this guy, I think it even gave you the postcode, and he said, this guy's only like a mile away from us. You should check it out. So I went ahead and bought the ebook. I think it was like $1.99 or something like that. My dad bought it as well. And we downloaded it, and it was by a guy who some listeners will know, a guy called John Thornhill, who's now a good friend of mine. And we bought the book, and when I looked in John's feedback on eBay, I could see that he was making tens of thousands of dollars a month by selling ebooks and information products on eBay. And I looked at it. I literally just did the maths. I just went, bloody hell, look at all of the copies of this book he's selling. And that money's coming in on pretty much autopilot. He spends a little bit of time listing them on eBay, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. And this sold me instantly on the internet marketing dream, like instantly. I just thought, wow, this is amazing. If you can create and sell stuff online that requires like set and forget, then I'm well into that. Yeah. So what I wanted to do was I set myself this vision. I wanted to be able to make $2,000 a month, or £2,000 a month maybe, literally just so that when I came to the end of my years of doing summer seasons abroad, I could move back to the UK, and a couple of £1,000 or a couple of $1,000 would pay rent for a little apartment. It would pay food on the table, clothes on my back, pay the bills, and allow me just to live a happy life. And that was it. And I'd love to say that I was one of these entrepreneurs who was selling sweets at the age of 12 at school, and was like this entrepreneur from a young age, and I wasn't. That wasn't me at all. I knew I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to perform. I wanted to entertain people. That was my kind of vision. But I liked the idea of having this little business that could make a couple of $1,000s a month. And we all know this making money on the internet thing's dead easy. So I thought, this sounds good. I'm gonna get started. So I ended up, as a result of buying that ebook, on John's list. So we started getting emails, and my dad did as well. Started getting emails promoting these products. My dad's always been self-employed, or almost always been self-employed, and always encouraged me to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So we started reading the emails and looking at the products, and there's these products that help you get traffic and help you do affiliate marketing and help you do all of the other online stuff when it comes to selling digital information products. And so I didn't have any money at the time. I didn't have a credit card or anything. And my dad just gave me his credit card details and said, look, here, within reason, and run it by me first. Just buy some stuff and try and make this work. See what you can do. Yeah. Pay me back one day. So I started buying products left, right, and center. And I knew that I already had a product that was saleable, because after my hypnosis show, I used to sell stop smoking CDs and weight loss CDs and confidence CDs and stress CDs. So I knew I already had kind of 4 ready to go products. So I took the one that I thought would sell the best, which is the quit smoking one. I put it in my laptop, my beaten up old laptop, and I ripped the audio file back off it. So I had the MP3. And then it took about 12 months of just kind of messing around and self-education from all of these different training programs that I'd bought in order to put together a sales page. I even made, I didn't want to spend the money, so I even made the graphics myself. I put it was called Your Big Quit. I put it all together. And I listed it. And I realized one of the things that was great about information products is that digital information products seem to sell for higher prices than their physical counterparts would in a shop. Right. So, for example, you might pay, I don't know, 15 to 20 pounds for a book, $25 for a book in Barnes & Noble or Waterstones or somewhere. Whereas if you sell it as a downloadable product, these things seem to sell for $67, $97 for an ebook. So I thought, well, this is amazing. Yeah. So again, I used to sell these CDs for 20 euros after my show. It's probably about $20. And I realized I could put it online based on the competition, the other sites that are online, and sell it for probably $67, something like that. So I managed to put it all together. I bought a private label rights ebook. So for anyone that doesn't know, somebody else has written the book and you get the rights to sell it as your own. I went through and rewrote the whole book to turn it into my own, created some simple worksheets that people could use to help them plan out their quitting schedule. And I recorded a few short videos where I taught people neuro-linguistic programming techniques to help them beat the cravings and things like that. So I had this little package. It was the MP3 and the book and the worksheets and 4 or 5 videos. And I put it all together. It took me about a year, but I managed to get it listed on ClickBank and get it all up and running. And then I thought, right, this is it. I'll pop that online tomorrow. Next week, loads of money. Obviously, that's not how it works. You put it up and nobody comes. So you have to play around with it for ages. And I spent the next couple of years trying to get traffic to that website. And failing miserably for most of that time, quite frankly. I was buying push-button softwares that claimed they were going to get me hundreds of thousands of visitors overnight and all of the other kind of scams and dodgy stuff out there. And it just wasn't working. So moving forward to 2009, there's an argument here whether it was 2008 or 2009. I think it was 2009. I got an email from John Thornhill, the guy who started this whole journey off. And he said, if you want to be successful online and you're struggling right now, then I suggest that you get a coach or a mentor. Now, my coaching program is closed right now, so you can't join. But there's this young upcoming marketer from the UK, and I recommend that you join his coaching program. It's $1,000. It's like 8 to 10 weeks of webinars, and it'll help put you on the right track. And I watched the sales video for it, and my dad had watched the sales video for it as well. And he sent me the link and said, maybe this is it. So try this. This is like last attempt. Put $1,000 on the credit card. This is it. I'd spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on all the stuff that didn't work. So he said, this is it. Last attempt. Just go for it. So I was very lucky. I had a supportive family. So I went ahead, bought the $1,000 program, and I was in. Now, I remember actually the webinars were delivered on a weekly basis, and I couldn't even attend the webinars because the time that they were, the only internet that I had access to was in the bar where I used to do my show. And at the time where those webinars were held, there was like a big bar crawl going on with hundreds of drunken, rowdy 18 to 30-year-olds parading down, dancing on the bars and all sorts. So I even tried. I went upstairs onto the balcony of one of the bars where there was nobody at that time of night, and I put my earphones in and I pressed them into my ears like this, desperately trying to learn this stuff that was going to make me successful. Anyway, it was a nightmare. So I had to listen to the replays of the webinars the day after. And that really put me on the right track. That really kind of set things in the right direction. I understood that it was more than just creating a product, putting it on the internet and driving traffic at it. That's not a business. You might make some money and it might create an income stream, but it's certainly not a business. You need to have a brand. You need to have a worthwhile thing. You need to have all these different places. You need to have a blog. You need to have an email list. You need to have a variety of products. And I really started to understand the process. Now, that mentor had said at the time that what you should probably do is to start off, if you're unsure and you're starting out and you've never done this before, maybe start in the internet marketing niche, actually creating and selling content about your internet marketing journey. So start a blog. Don't lie and don't fake it till you make it, but just start a blog and post and say, I've never done this before. I'm brand new to all of this, but I'm going to build a business online. I want you guys to watch me. So that's what I did. I created a pen name in order to separate it from the microphone, in order to separate it from my hypnosis business. Right. I used that pen name for 2 or 3 years before I eventually decided to retire it and get rid of it. And that was it. And that started this journey. Weirdly, despite years of kind of failure, within 30 days or 60 days actually of joining that program. So in 30 days, I didn't do anything. Then the next 30 days, so 60 days in total, I was able to generate just under $5,000 in very near to profit, not entirely profit, but very near to profit. And that really set the whole thing going. That started my first ever 6-figure year. And then since then, that's grown into a 7-figure business that spans multiple niches. And that's kind of that's the long story behind what brought me to where I am now. So now, just to kind of round that off, I'm now in a place where I run a full-time online business, and then my hypnosis is really a sideline business that I can do when I want to. It allowed me to put my prices up for my hypnosis show because I don't rely on the work anymore. I just take the gigs that can afford to pay what I want to charge, and it's allowed me to live a much more free lifestyle.
That's excellent story. And I think, as you said, it's just sort of going back into the story. You said about the amount that you spent looking for the right thing, the push button, the get rich quick, whatever you want to call it. As you said, I think we've all done that in some way, shape, or form. But interestingly, the thing was, though, actually perhaps what you had, which a lot of people don't have, is you had a skill that really was something that was quite sellable, wasn't it? With the hypnosis and with the magic. So as I said, it's turning that sort of that passion into profit. So are you still sort of marketing? Is there anything you've got in terms of the hypnosis, etc., that you're doing? Is that still the niche that you're in?
So after I'd got that first 6-figure year down, and I kind of knew what I was doing with all of this, I ended up talking to a guy called Alex, who was my hypnosis trainer. And basically, Alex is quite a controversial character in the UK, but a good friend. And he basically had a ton of training about hypnosis. So my initial training in hypnosis was based on DVDs. I bought DVDs. I was at school. I was 14. I actually got told off because I bought them and I studied them instead of my homework and stuff. But I bought these DVDs on eBay, and they came through, and it was tons and hours and dozens of hours of training on hypnosis. And Alex, who created these DVDs, actually had literally hundreds of hours of training of hypnosis, because he used to run seminars in the UK all the time, and then would record those seminars and then sell them on originally VHS and then eventually DVD. And he had customers all over the world were buying these, in China and Australia and Japan and all sorts of other places. And he would, in his office at home, he had an 8-disc DVD burner in the corner, and he literally pop the master one in, press a button, and then burn the rest of them, and he'd be putting them into boxes. But some of these DVD sets were like 8 to 10 DVDs long, so it takes ages to burn one set to send off to the other side of the world. So we were chatting about this one day, and I said, why don't you just sell it all online? Just digitize it, sell it all online, downloadably. And he went, well, I just don't know how. And I said, here's an opportunity. How about it's your content, I'll do all the marketing, and then we'll split the money 50-50. And he said, okay, it sounds like a decent plan. We'll see what we can do. So I said, why don't you, and I went round to his, and he lives a couple of hours away from me in Manchester, but I went round and I said, I'll tell you what, let's take all of the content you've got, and I'll show you how to use FTP, file transfer protocol, and we'll upload it all to my website. So I gave him my FTP details. I created a little folder, and I said, what you need to do is you need to double-click that folder and drag it all into there, and that'll upload it to my website. So there was that much stuff. Literally, you couldn't do anything else on the computer while it was uploading. The files were that huge. And I said, what you'll have to do is set it uploading, go to bed, and then when you get up the following day, it'll be done. And then the following night, set the next. And it took 9 days 9 nights of him sleeping to upload all of this stuff to my server. Then we got an email from D9 Hosting, who my web host, and they said, "I'm really sorry, you've got too much stuff. You've got too much stuff on the server. You're gonna have to move it. Like, you can't have that much stuff on the server." And I kicked off with them. I sent an email. I said, "This is horrendous. This is dreadful. I've got an unlimited hosting package. How are you telling me I've got too much stuff? you sold me an unlimited hosting package for my, $100 a year or whatever it was. I was so naive, and I just didn't realize that's not okay. Like, you can't store 100 gigabytes worth of stuff on this storage. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I know Dan and Paula now, and it's all good. But I really kicked off with them, and I thought, this is a scam. This is horrendous. But they're not that big. So they said, you'll have to move it. I would recommend you use Amazon S3 hosting, which is much more cost effective and much faster and all the rest of it. We'll even move it for you. So I opened my Amazon account. They moved it all across onto Amazon for me. Done. So that was the first little thing out of the way. And then what happened was we took that content, we created a little launch process for it. So it was like 2 or 3 free videos or 4 free videos. And then, and I was literally just modeling what I'd seen other people do. There was no natural flair for this. Just looking at what other people were doing and copying it. So we created 4 free videos, gave those away. Alex came around to mine. I set up my little green screen and he stood in front of it. I bought one of these pop-up green screens and recorded a sales video. And we sold it for about $300, I think, $297 or $397, $400, something like that. And we launched it over an 8-day period. We got 4 or 5 affiliates to promote it, so not a massive thing. And it generated $89,000 or $90-something thousand in that 9-day period or 8-day period. And that was the most I'd ever made. Like I'd done $100,000 in a year before, but we'd nearly done $100,000 in a week. And that was amazing for me and for Alex as well, because he'd never sold that much stuff in a week before. So we took it, and PayPal actually closed the account down. PayPal closed the PayPal account down, but they froze it first. Mm-hmm. And they said, you can't receive any more money. But you can. They would allow us to send or withdraw money. So we quickly paid the affiliates. We're using a platform called click2sell.eu, which is back in the day. And then we split our money and off we went, and that was it. And then that brand since then, I think it did $250,000 that year and has gone on to do that over and over and over again since then. So it was a really new thing. That was the first time I'd been really successful in a non-internet marketing niche. And that was really powerful for me. I decided this is definitely the direction I want to take. I was much happier building a business so a lot of marketers, in my experience and probably in yours, actually make all of their money by just teaching internet marketing. Mm-hmm. They teach internet marketing to people who are going to teach internet marketing to people who are going to teach internet marketing. And there's no end user in this process. So I was very aware that I wanted to build a business that actually created and sold products to effectively real end users, and then teach internet marketing as a sideline. So I always decided that I wanted to make more money actually doing it than teaching it. Teaching it is infinitely more profitable, but I just felt better if I did more by doing it than actually teaching it. So that was it, and that started a journey that took us through a bunch of different niches: hypnosis, personal development, dating and relationships, dog training, and stuff like that. So now my primary business is in the personal development niche. In other words, rather than teaching hypnotists to be hypnotists, mm-hmm. we're teaching normal people, regular, everyday, real people, how to use hypnosis and mindset stuff in order to create a better life for themselves. So I created a brand called Evolution Hacks, and the whole concept of that is that you can, we've all evolved over millions of years from tiny little swamp creatures into the incredible dashing humans that we are today. And so in my opinion, we should all be constantly seeking to continue to evolve and push ourselves forward, learn new skills, and just develop who we are. Create better habits, build better personalities, and just become the ideal person that you want to be, build the perfect life. And obviously that's quite a long process if you follow traditional personal development and all the rest of it. So I decided there's sort of ways you can hack that process using hypnosis and psychology and stuff like that. So that's what the brand is all about. So then we create and sell programs that help people to do that. So I'm not aiming at people who are $1 million business owners and want to get to the next level, or who are champion golfers and want to up their game. I'm aiming at regular everyday people like you and me, mm-hmm. who just have a pretty decent life, but they just want to get the most out of it. They just want to become the best that they can be.
Okay, we're going to, as ever, we're going to stop the interview there at right about the sort of the 20-minute mark, because that then means that we can keep our podcast to between 30 and 40 minutes. But again, as ever, you need to be getting yourself into the Facebook group so you can hear all of the great information that Rob shares in the rest of that interview about content creation, turning passion into profits. He really does share a huge amount, and he also reveals that he has an event coming up very soon in which he is going to teach a lot of this great stuff that he shares in his coaching program. He's going to sort of bring it into a 2-day event, and he's going to put something a little bit special inside of our group for the members of the group who want to go to that event. So highly recommend that you do that. So what you need to do, as ever, thesolopreneurShow.com. And this time it's /Rob J. Temple, thesolopreneurShow.com /Rob J. Temple. And you will be able to, to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to the podcast. If you haven't, why haven't you? And you can also then as well gain access into the Facebook group where you can hear the whole thing. So there we go. That is what you need to do. And obviously, of course, if you listen to this on iTunes, Google Play, wherever it is that you get it, wherever it is that you download it, please make sure you're subscribing. Please make sure you're reviewing as well and sharing your thoughts on the show. As long as they're good. If they're not, well, just keep them to yourself. But that's what we need you guys to be doing. All right. So it's time now that we crack on with the show.
And now it's time for my favourite part of the show. It's Ask Anthony.
Okay, so we have another Ask Anthony, and this we've got a question. Jim has put in a question, and he's referring back actually to a previous podcast that we did with Nicola, and Nicola was talking about joining these Facebook groups, and he just sort of saying, well, how do I find these groups? How do I sort of how do I get into them? And that's a good question, and it's the same as well, with a lot of the Skype groups as well. I think actually it's easier with Facebook group than it is with Skype to get in, or I found it anyway. Skype, I've always found I had to sort of get somebody to invite me into these Skype groups. And back when I started in sort of 2010, Skype was all the thing. Facebook wasn't. I don't think Facebook hadn't even invented at that point. So it was all the Skype groups that I was in, and they have just great big sort of long threads, etc. Whereas Facebook, obviously, we've got the pictures, and you can put links a bit better, and obviously you can put links in Skype, but it's just generally better in Facebook. There's a better community, I personally feel anyway. But really, all you need to do is just look, inside of Facebook is just, at the top there where it says search. And if you know the name of the group, so, something like Internet Marketing Super Friends, you can put that in and it's there, you'll find it. But of course, a lot of these groups, you won't know that they exist. So I would go in and look at keywords, depending on what it is that you want to group, what sort of group you want to join. So if you want to go and join a group that's about solo ads, just put in the word solo ads or solo ads testimonials. If you were looking to go and do your due diligence on people who are trustworthy within the solo ads industry, you can go and look in there. Internet Marketing Super Friends, you can just put in internet marketing, and if you type in internet marketing, you probably get a whole load of information. So that is what I would highly suggest with regards to Facebook, going and searching for these groups. And we have another question as well from Ricardo, and Ricardo is saying, what is the best free gift to give away? Well, that's a big question. What's the best free gift to give away? It's easy for me to say. And obviously, it's going to depend, Ricardo, on what niche you're in, and what you're looking to do with people. People all have different learning styles and skills. It's interesting. My youngest at the moment is in year 10 here in the UK. He's 14, just sort of 15, very, very soon. And he's doing what's called his GCSEs. And he's been, every night he's been spending 2 hours on sort of learning specific. He's sort of doing in blocks. So at the minute it's physics for 2 weeks, 2 hours a night. He's reading his physics book. He's got the sort of the exam book. And he's really, really, really struggling with the reading in terms of actually, he can read no problem, but in terms of keeping it all in. And actually his brother suggested to him, why don't you just get hold of your tablet and read the book, record it, and then listen to it back. He said, because that's what I did when I did my GCSEs and my A levels. And you know what? He started doing it, and it's all sticking. We were driving back from rugby last night, and he basically just recited about 3 pages worth of text to me from these books, and that's whereas previously it took him like a week to learn 1 page. So everybody has different styles. So what you give away, different people will opt in for different things. Different people will opt in for videos, or they will opt in for a book, or they will opt in for audio. But the real key thing here is I wouldn't get too hung up on that. I would spend more time on ensuring what I'm giving them is great content. That's the key, is giving people something. People, yes, it's nice to give them a book. Yes, nice to give them an audio. Yes, nice to give them a video. Blah blah blah. But ultimately, it's the content. They're buying the content. Whenever we sell a product, it's nice to have nice graphics. It's nice to deliver it well, to make it look professional. But ultimately, people are buying the content. They're buying the knowledge that you're sharing. All right, so that's is the ultimate thing. But in terms of creating things, you can go sort of a couple of different ways. So I'm sitting here at the minute. I've got the camera up here, and I can see myself on the screen. In fact, I'll probably let me just move this up a bit. There we are. So I'm not permanently. You can't ever help looking at yourself on the screen, can you? You can't help it. So basically, you can sit as I'm doing here. I'm recording this. I've got a HD webcam up in the corner of the TV there, pointing down at me, and it gives pretty decent quality. Certainly good enough quality for this show. Which, if you listen to the podcast, thinking why on earth are you videoing it? But of course, hopefully you're inside of the group and you're seeing the video. But the video, you can do the video, you can sit and you can talk and you can share whatever the information is that you want. You can do it to camera. You can do a screen grab if you want to do a PowerPoint presentation. Now, what you can do then, so if you start with the video, you can of course strip out the audio, as we do, as I do with the podcast. We get that done and get the audio stripped out to put into iTunes and Google, etc. And then you can get the audio, find somebody on Fiverr, Fiverr.com, which is Fiverr with 2 R's, and basically get them to transcribe it. So you've got a book. So you've got a video, an audio, and a book. You've got 3 different things. So heck, you can do a few different things. You can either give all 3 of them away together, or alternatively, you can create 3 different pages, 3 different things that you're giving away, and split test. If you have them all with the same subject line, the same background, etc., and you let people know it's a free PDF, or it's a free audio, or it's a free video, and see, and find out and learn what it is that your audience, whatever niche it is that you're in, or whatever it is that you're giving away, what floats their boat. And if you find that sort of you're getting a 50-60% opt-in on video and you're getting like a 20% opt-in on PDF, then you know that video is the way you want to go with it, to really sort of, that's the one to highlight. But you then give away the other bits as well. But you make the big fuss about the video. If you're getting the great opt-ins for the video, make the fuss about the video, but let them know is also free PDF, free audio, MP3 to listen in your car, or wherever you are, wherever you listen to MP3 audios. But you're making the fuss of the thing that is what most people want. You do that, you're going to see decent opt-ins. So you're really highlighting and attracting those people who want the videos. But the fact then that you've also got the audio and the transcription, the PDF, etc., or free short report with it, then you're also going to capture those people as well. They're like your safety. That's your safety net, if you like, to ensure that you're getting as many people as possible. So it's all about testing. It's all about split testing. It's all about trying different things. But ultimately, what you want to be doing, mate, is making sure that you are giving great content. Okay, you're delivering great content. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, you need to get inside of the group, because inside of the group, we have the unedited interviews where a lot of the guests have been talking about creating content and creating passion from profits, etc., and really just delivering great value. So you're going to get a lot of hints, tips, and strategies from that. So 2 questions answered here today, and I think it's time that we probably we draw a line under today's show. And again, I really hope that you have enjoyed today's interview, and to go and find out more about Rob, just go to the solopreneurshow.com/Rob J. Temple, or just come to the solopreneurshow.com and you can see all the other great stuff that's going on there. But the main thing is you want to be getting yourself inside the group so you can get all of the great value. So guys, end of today's podcast. Really enjoying doing these with you. Absolutely having a ball, and thank you for your questions. Thank you for all the support inside of the group. It really does mean a lot to me. It's absolutely awesome. So I will see you again. Remember, we're on launch here, so I will see you again tomorrow for tomorrow's episode. And make sure as well, that you're subscribing and you're reviewing and you're liking and you're sharing wherever you possibly can. Okay, make it your mission for this next week or so to just basically let everybody know how great this show is. All right, so I will see you again tomorrow. Cheers. Bye now.
To get your hands on more great business training and advice, plus the chance to join our free Facebook group where you will see extended guest interviews, the opportunity of free one-to-one coaching, and behind-the-scenes access to Anthony, go to www.thesolopreneurshow.com and join us today.